everyone. I am making this video today just to talk. I have made this video before and I didn't like the video, so I deleted it. And we're trying to wrangle my thoughts for probably a couple weeks now. And the reason I'm making it is because I really have, I've said little things like how my path has evolved. And I'd like to go over that for everybody. So, my path has evolved to the point, and I know I want to give things a chance. So like I said I don't even know if I posted the video. Oh, I did. It was in part of the challenge. For Lunasa, I went with a group, and I like a lot about the group, but there's things that I just make me uneasy or uncomfortable, or maybe it's just because I'm not used to it. You know, I'm so used to doing everything on my own, and I talk about it, but I don't really do it with other people. And so being in a group situation where they're doing stuff, and I understand the logistics, why they're doing it a certain way and what they're doing, but it's so different from what I do, and I feel like I don't want to go back, even though I've been invited to go back. And I don't know if that's because just insecurities, or if is it that, should I take that as a message, you know what I mean, that I'm uneasy about it. You know, I get upset with myself because I get upset, I shouldn't say with myself, but I get upset because there's not a lot of things to do, and I'm always looking for new people to do it with. You know what I mean, like group things. I'm looking for group things. Like if there's like public things or whatever. But this isn't really necessarily public, it's private. But so I feel like, well, if I don't give it the chance, then how would I know? I only did Lunasa with them, and I didn't really, you know what I mean, I didn't know exactly what the ritual structure was, and that was mostly my fault because I didn't understand what was put in the group was what was going to happen. Like, you know what I mean? I explained it in my other video, but I understand points of it, but like some of the working, it didn't click. You know what I mean? It just didn't click for me. And I don't know why. You know what I mean? I kind of know why, and I don't want to pick apart anyone else's ritual structure. You know what I mean? Because maybe, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable. My chair, I can't get it. If I'm too high, my feet don't touch the ground. But my desk is kind of high, and it's at the lowest setting. So, and if I'm too low, then I feel like I'm like this. So I'm trying to get comfortable, because if my feet don't sit firmly on the ground, the backs of my legs make my legs go numb. So you know what I mean? So I'm going to try and sit forward. How's that? So, yeah, so the group thing has been on my mind a lot, and it's coming up because they've invited me back, and I need to, but then I have to bring a book of shadows, and I have to learn translations from English to Latin, and I have to learn their structure, and which is all really cool, but I kind of did that on my own, but I didn't have it as formally. I wasn't being told that I need to write stuff down and learn stuff, you know what I mean? And I've just been in charge, basically, of everything in my life for so long, it's hard for me to let go of that, you know what I mean? And be the student, or be the underdog, kind of, you know what I mean? Or be the new person. it's really hard for me to let go of that. Because like at work, I'm second in command basically. Third, technically, the way the structure goes, but me and the person, me and my buddy, he's considered the GM and I'm the AGM. He does know a little bit more than me because he's stayed there longer. We've both been there. We started it around the same time, and he's been there the whole time, and I left a couple times. This is my third time back. So, anyway, for that, like, but we have different strengths, so we play off each other really, really well, and we have a lot of the same strengths too. So, sometimes we come at it at two different angles, and we get it done. So, which is really good. But you know what I mean. So I'm in charge there. I don't rarely get questioned, except for maybe by each other. You know, we're in a team, so the team of headquarters is really close. We get second guessed constantly by the head guy, but that's a different story. That's just his nature. He wants to make sure that every fine detail, and some of his fine details aren't necessarily our fine details. So I don't know why I'm rambling on about this, but we're going to get back on subject, I swear. So, but between that and then being solitary and being eclectic, I basically do, when I say, we always say, do what feels right. I don't think people understand. That's hard when you say it that way to understand, for someone to understand where you're coming from. They can get the basic principle, do what feels right. But if I don't know anything to do, you know what I mean? So, I'm drinking this coffee and it's making me have acid reflux. I'm sorry. It's cheap. I should have, my roommate gave it to me and I was like, oh, I'll drink it. Anyway, so, I don't know why I'm looking back there. I don't know why. I was drawn for a second. When we do what feels right, for me, that means, like, it just comes naturally. It's free-flowing. Not all the time. I mean, sometimes you have to learn and study different ways of coming to a conclusion of how you want to do something, anything. So the books help, and other YouTubers help, and all this kind of stuff helps. And then see what you like. And sometimes it's not of having to get so critical that you're down going, okay, I like this, but I don't like this, I like this. So for some people, that is probably necessary. But for me, I'm more of like that organic streaming type, and I read it, and then I just do what pops into my head. So when I say I don't follow a structure, or I don't follow an author structure, or I don't follow what's been described in a lot of book structure, it's because pieces of it probably didn't resonate. So when I just do it, I just go. You know what I mean? And then if it comes into my head, it's done. If it doesn't, then it wasn't part of that ritual. And it's just streams organically. You know what I mean? It just happens. I just do it. I don't have to overly think about it. I don't have to plan it out like some of the books teach you to, plan out your ritual and do this and do that and do this at this time and say this and blah, blah, blah. I don't necessarily, I like that. I mean, I can understand the reasons that you would teach that way, but that to me is like what's wrong with the education system, is that not everyone learns the same way. So you telling us to do it your way and read this way and write this down is not necessarily going to work for everyone, and it does not work for me. So I just go with it. I just do my thing. You know what I mean? And it's hard to explain that. But maybe I'll show you guys sometime. Like, I just walk over to my altar and sometimes I'm really quiet. Sometimes I spell, sometimes I chant, sometimes I talk. You know what I mean? Talk to whom or whatever. Just depends. So, it's like meditation, but I'm kind of, it's not. I'm not sitting still. And meditation is a whole nother ball of wax for me. You know what I mean? Sometimes I don't need to sit still and try and clear my thoughts. I do that. I think it is healthy to do that. And I don't probably do it as often as I should. But sometimes, to me, if I just driving to work, and I hate to drive, by the way, but just driving to work, I don't turn on the radio. I leave the windows up. You know, the air is on because it's so hot here. It's like 100 and some degrees with the heat index. And that's high in the United States for metric people. I just keeps my, you know, what I mean, I work through things in my head in the car. It's just me time. Granted, I have to pay attention because I'm making sure that people don't run me over or wreck into me, because apparently people. That's why I don't like to drive. I know that I'm not the world's best driver, but wow. So that's basically some of my path. Now, I know I'm just kind of like changing subjects, but the other part is, the second part is the vegan part. Now, I'm very passionate about my path, and being vegan is part of my path, because the way I came across this, I know I've probably explained this differently each time, but the basics of it was I didn't feel healthy. And I've always been an animal lover, but that disconnects there. That it's like blinders or a wall that you just refuse to go through. And I know this, I'm not trying to sound preachy, and I don't want to come across as offensive to anyone, but it might. So bear with me. I think that, and I know because I've been there, that how much I did not want to know about the world now that I've opened it up, that I now understand. Because before, I don't think, between denial and not wanting to know, was a powerful tool. And you're brainwashed too from the media and from everything around you, but your environment, your culture. But you just don't want to see anything bad. And now that like I said, I was trying to become healthy. I didn't feel healthy. I knew I wasn't healthy. I wanted to be more healthy. I still need to be more healthy. I need to exercise, and get outside more. But it's just so hot and humid that I'm making excuses. Sorry. So that being said, I have noticed lately, 2016 has been huge as far as veganism is concerned. The hashtag has been used like 20 or 30% more, 25 to 30% more times, hashtag vegan, and the people are talking about it, and it's out in the open, and finally doctors are starting to tell their patients, this is what you should do to be healthy. You need to switch your diet. They're recommending plant-based diets. I shouldn't say diets. A plant-based diet, which is vegan. It's the same thing. Vegan just has a kind of a negative connotation, but I still like the word and the term, because you know exactly what is meant. You might have some preconceived notions of what that means, like preachy aggressive people or whatever, but you know what? The same is to be said for the word witch. So why would I shun away with it? I want it to mean something good. So I'm going to continue using the label, just the same way I can still continue using the word witch. So that being said, I've noticed lately that maybe it's because I'm more vocal about it, like on my Facebook or my YouTube channel or Twitter or you name it. I link a lot of stuff, and I had the girl I work with, I should say girl, the lady I work with, she sits beside me. I made a video, so you guys will get to see these people. Work happens for me every day, so it's kind of, part of my life. And she commented, and she texted me, and then said it at work, that, oh my god, you linked these videos of these that are horrible. I linked a video, I think it was from Mercy for Animals, and it was the egg industry. And it showed what happens to male chicks. So you come down a conveyor belt and they're sorted by hand usually, and the male ones are put back on the conveyor belt and they go into a chopper and it chops them up live. And just grinds them up. And she was like, why would you show that? That's horrible. And I said, that's the point. That's the point. That happens every single day. And I think people need to remove the blinders. And this is where I probably come across preachy, because I am telling you my view. But remember, this is my view. I'm allowed to preach all I want to. If you don't like it. But I can't live with myself. I couldn't live with myself any longer after I started to study and find out how I could actually be healthy, because I knew that all the TV diet and all this other stuff and all these crazy things that people tell you that are paid for advertisements and stuff, that's not organic and streaming. You know what I mean? That's not real. That's people trying to make money. So I wanted to know, I wanted to know what I could do for real to make a difference. And so after studying and forcing myself to watch things that I'm uncomfortable with, I was opened up. And then it opened up the world like huge of what's going on. And it's just horrendous. And at the same time, beautiful. Because so many more people are converting to veganism. And that happening alone, if it starts there, imagine how their mind will open up maybe to spiritualities and other faiths and other religions and other races, and if the common ground is that, if the common ground was paganism, and it opens it up. But I think that having those both in my path make it so much more strong, and I want to let people know what I found. If people didn't let people know their findings and their beliefs, we would have none of these books. We would not have our faith. We would not have Wicca. We would not have Thelema. We wouldn't have this stuff if people didn't want to go against the grain and the status quo and what they've been told to believe. Now, I've noticed lately that I've had a lot more pushback, and that's why I said maybe it's because I'm more vocal about it, or the things I link that I'm passionate about on Facebook or what have you. I'm getting questioned a lot, which is good. I'd like to explain, but at the same time, sometimes it's really argumentative. And if you're just starting a conversation with me sorry, Mom, I'm having an allergy attack. If you're just starting a conversation with me to try and prove me wrong, it's not going to work, because I'm not wrong. You know what I mean? That's not even an opinion. That's a fact. Follow the facts. I'm not here to also to educate people. This is not what this video is about. If you'd like to know more about veganism, I can recommend stuff. I can recommend what I've read. I can recommend stuff. I can show you the path. I can talk more about my path, my journey on veganism. But I don't want to get in, because it's going to make this video really super long if I suddenly start giving you facts. Now, there are tons of great YouTubers on the subject. Now, there's what I've come to find out as I'm starting to follow more and more vegan channels, as well as witch channels or whatever, pagan channels, is that they have the problem because of all the strong ideas and strong personalities, besides the fact that YouTube is coming into play with this, and some people are not necessarily, they lose track of their activism and are about getting subscribers, so a lot of drama comes into play. You'd be surprised, it's just as bad as it goes, but it comes in waves. Right now it's big in the vegan community, and it's not so much, I don't see that much drama going on in the pagan witch world. So it bounces back and forth. You're going to have that either way. So I just want, for me, I just want everyone, or I'm sharing my experiences. If I'm sharing something on Facebook, it depends. Like sometimes I share stuff to spark interest. If I think it's a good article, maybe I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's a good article, or it's a good food for thought kind of thing that this is happening, I will like it or I'll share it. If I comment on it, you really know that I'm into it. If I love it, like heart it on Facebook, you know. And this isn't necessarily on my, which they're still refusing to change my channel name. So my Facebook page has changed. Like to find it, you have to type a vegan witch, but the page title is still a Witch Boy Columbus. I don't know why that is. It let me change the address, but it won't let me change the actual page name. I don't know why. Apparently, you know, pages don't change names very much, but they don't know the witches very well, do they? Because we change our names all the time. Like I said, the stuff that I'm linking, I'm passionate about, or I think that I want other people to know. They want them to learn. I don't necessarily always agree with them, but say sometimes I link articles that about somebody spewing hate, but I don't comment on it. I want to see the reactions that people have, you know what I mean? Because if you share it, especially to my audience, or my friends, or who I'm friends with on Facebook, or people that follow me in my personal account, I've been recently sharing more in the witch one, but I didn't necessarily just getting into sharing more vegan stuff on my Witch Boy, on my Facebook page. It's been always like spiritual stuff, but since obviously these two are combined strongly, I was looking at the time of this video, sorry. I want to start linking more of those, but I don't want to get away too much from the spiritual side, because I want people to feel good when they watch my page. I don't want them to leave distraught. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I think it's really important to watch videos. I would think it's really important if you can make yourself watch it. He's very strongly worded. It's called The Best Speech You'll Ever See, I think, by Gary Yourofsky. It's spelled like your, Y-O-U-R-O-F-S-K-Y. I know I've linked it before. If you can make yourself get through his thing, it's strong. He uses a lot of strong wording and people are uncomfortable, but that's the point. He's trying to make people upset at the beginning, and then he kind of tapers off. He does show two industries, I think a slaughter and a dairy, but they're short. They're just little clips wide. He's giving a lecture at a school is what he's doing, but someone recorded it, and it's amazing. It totally changed. I mean, it made me mad, but it totally, and I was already vegan when I watched it, so it might upset people, but I've also followed some other great people. I follow some of the controversial ones, and I follow some of the ones that aren't so controversial. Bite Size Vegan is also really good. She's a little more, she's an activist, but she's a little more laid back. I mean, she comes across, her energy's not as chaotic. There's a couple that, if you're interested, I can link, but I'm not going to give them here because they're really aggressive. James Aspe is a great channel to follow. He's really calm. I think he's Buddhist. I think. He was talking about Buddhists, and so I'm just making that judgment call, but I don't know if he really is. He was talking about meditations and different types of meditations, which were great. He's also an activist, but he's he just states facts, and he remains calm, and he just kind of rebuts things. But you know, if people start spouting at him, he can remain calm and control it, which is really good. But I just want everyone to come at it from a different angle. You know what I mean? Don't attack me or what I'm saying because you feel threatened, because I'm not out to threaten anyone. I am challenging your beliefs maybe, but that's because they're so ingrained. And if you could get past that, we all got past what we were told to do, especially in the United States, because it's mainly Christian, and most people are brought up that way, and we knew something was wrong, right? We just knew there was something that was wrong. So we changed. We explored our options. We found new things. And maybe that's why the aggression that you feel towards me or what I say or what other vegans are saying or veganism in general, maybe do shadow work, or, you know what I mean, look at deeper in why am I so mad about this? Well, because I think it's because we're challenging, and no one likes to be told what to do, but we're challenging what you've came to terms with, because you don't see, you know what I mean? It's hard to explain. But I've been there. It's not like I'm coming at this where I have, you know, I'm some self-righteous person. No, I've only been vegan for a year and 8 months. I've only been a witch for like 10. So, you know what I mean? Everything came later. And I'm excited as about this part of my path as I am when I first started reading, you know, Wicca books. So I want to share that. And I'm not going to come on anyone's channel and preach unless you make a video that is about veganism, or maybe even food that's wrong, or maybe jaded, or whatever. Maybe if you're stating wrong facts, I don't know. I might comment them, but I haven't been really commenting on a lot of people's videos lately because I go through these phases where I just take it all in. I watch other people's points of views. I watch other people's videos. Most of the time I like them. Sometimes I don't. I forget. But I try and like everyone, if I like it. I mean, I'm not going to like something I can't hate. If I can only watch the first 2 minutes of your video, I'm probably not going to do it. I subscribe to people because I like to get different aspects, but there's just sometimes how people carry themselves, or the energy that comes across. I'm like, oh, I can't watch this right now. And then usually I go back and I try and watch other videos of theirs. And I would also like to point out, while we're on the subject of Wiccan, the reason that I usually in the past have refrained from using that as my label, because I kind of felt like I wasn't worthy, or it didn't totally fit my path. So the more generic terms like solitary eclectic did. But I would say that I am more towards Wicca than other things. I really liked the structure, and I liked the practice. But I also am learning like other craft, like witchcraft, like traditional and stuff like that. But they're all kind of intertwined. They just might do something a little different. And since I'm doing it my way anyway, it doesn't really matter what label I use. But I would have to say that I follow a lot of what I was taught from reading, right? And since we're on that subject, I don't think that I need to be told to not harm anything. Like, it doesn't have to be written down for me. I don't need that as a commandment if I was in a Christianity. I don't need that as a rule from any other. If you don't have that ability to make that call in your brain on your own, you lack empathy and a conscience. So, but I would have to say that I follow the read pretty close, and I value and it harm none. And to me, animals are part of none. It's not and it harm no humans. It's not and it harm insects. It's not and it harm no whatever. It's and it harm none. to me, none is the planet, is people, is animals, is our environment, is everything. We have to apply that to our life. Doesn't mean just to other people. And it harm none, do what thou will, is harm anything. So that being said, it would make sense to me, Wiccans should try to be vegan. Only because even if you were to say, like, live on a farm and you're eating your cows are out in the field and, you know, doing whatever, and you just milk them, whatever, you are still supposed to you're not supposed to drink cow's milk. It's not a natural thing. I know that the dairy industry has made everyone believe that it is, but it's actually detrimental to your health. It's made for baby cows, baby calves, whatever. It's made for them. It's not made for us. It is not, we are not designed to eat eggs. There is no nutritional benefit from eggs. That by law, the egg industry has to be really careful on their verbiage, because they can't say that they're good for you. They can't say that they are a good source of protein. They can't say that they are any of these things, because they are not meant to eat. You are eating, with eggs, even if they're caught out, you know, they're free range, they're in your yard, whatever, and they lay eggs all the time, you are still eating the menstrual cycle of a bird. Does that make sense to you? I wanted to talk about how my path's evolved and why it's including veganism, and I'm not necessarily trying to preach it, but I'm preaching it. You know what I mean? I don't want to be too preachy, but when I'm questioned, yes, I'm going to tell you the facts and why I think that way. And if it makes you upset, maybe think why am I upset? Do I really hate Witch Boy? Or is it what he's saying? Why do I find it wrong? Why am I so maddened by it? And I think you'll be surprised when you work through that it's because most people will say, I have no interest, I don't want to know. I don't want to see that stuff because I don't want to know. And that's, to me, is just not a good enough reason. You have to get to a point where if we're opening ourselves up to all these other parts of our path, why wouldn't we want to know the truth about the world we live in? And even if you're not interested in, I mean, like, to me, some of the very basic books, when I first started learning about Wicca, it was, you know, take care of the temple, take care of the world, take care of the world around you, and veganism is the only true way to do that. You can't be an environmentalist if you're not vegan. You just can't. It's the #1 cause of climate change, or in the top 3. It is the pollutes. It's the #1. It creates dead zones in the ocean. It causes hunger and starvation of people. It is clearing all the rainforests for animal agriculture. It's just horrible, and we have the power to do something about it. And some people will say one person doesn't have. Yes, one person consumes in their lifetime a shitload of stuff, and by just stopping, it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing how much you will feel. A lot more empathy and compassion comes back in, and to know that you are helping our planet and our people and our animals. So it's gone on 30 minutes. I'm going to get off here, but I just wanted to talk some, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you for watching. Blessed be.